All right, ladies, good evening. It's Thursday, and this is our crew team call. I've opened it up to Team Fit to Inspire, the Inspiration crew, and everyone in Happy to Be a Fit crew. And I am so excited to have Dulce Toscano on our call tonight. I am a part of the Northeast Ohio Market Council and actually wanted to hire her to come to our event in April for Super Weekend, which you guys can save the date and look at the Super Weekend near you guys. April 17th, 18th, 19th, that weekend. And I wanted to fly her out, but just this event didn't work out. And she offered to do a team call for us, which I'm so excited about. I met her on IG, and she's actually a friend of Melanie, who is one of the girls that I met on IG as well. We have some mutual friends. And I did one of their little fitness challenges, just kind of posting and sharing about fitness I was doing as we are all working out constantly. I love that Dulce also has a passion and love for fitness as well. She's always updating her stories as well, if you guys ever want to check out her workouts that she's been up to. But I'm excited. She is a business mentor and IG strategist. She has created an 8-week IG master group master course that she'll, I'm sure, tell us about. But she has been gracious enough to share tips with us and our teams so that we can go ahead and use it for our business and pass it on to our coaches so we can help them as well. As we all know, IG is constantly changing, and we are always trying to stay up to date on what's happening, what's new, and the best way to use it to build our brand and build our business. I mentioned to her, and she has worked with Beachbody coaches before, but I mentioned her, like, you know, we're not very sales focused, but obviously we have a passion for helping people, and it leads obviously to them purchasing a program, nutrition, guidance, whatever from us. So she is going to give us her best tips and practices and some tangible things that we can take to use tonight, tomorrow in our business. So go ahead and take it away. Make sure if you guys are taking pictures throughout, make sure you tag her. It's Life by Dulce. You guys can look that up. I can even post it in here. So tag her on her post, tag her in your stories, and yeah, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here, ladies. I am excited to see like such a full screen. It like brings me so much joy. I would love to kind of hear a little bit from you guys. If you guys want to throw in the chat, like, what are your biggest challenges with Instagram? Where do you struggle with the most? I prepared a little presentation for you guys, but at the end of the day, it's not about me and it's not about what I want to present. It's about what you guys want to know and what you need. And I want to come from a place of service to you so that I can best support you. So the presentation I'm going to dive into right now is just some mindset shifts and Instagram strategies that, whether the algorithm changes or not, these things continue to remain true. And so if you continue to do the things that I go over with you guys today, it doesn't matter what happens with the algorithm. There will always be new tips. There will always be new tricks. But what at the foundation of what we do on social media and how we use it to build our businesses or grow your particular business, which I know involves getting more coaches or helping people. You guys are doing what you're doing to help others and with health, and that is so important, and it's so massive, and it's so needed. You just want to be in that right mindset. So let's see, getting more viewers on my stories. What's the best option to get more people to view my stories? For sure. Struggling with managing my following, unfollowing those that I'm following, utilizing hashtags. Okay, more views on stories. Okay, awesome, sweet. We'll dive into all of those. Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, so a lot of things on stories. Okay. Getting people who aren't already coaches or customers of coaches. Yes. All right, I'm gonna get started, and I'm going to be answering these as I'm going through, and then I'm gonna leave it at the end for an open Q&A. So let me just start sharing my screen. Okay, can everyone see the screen okay? I can only see about 4 people right now in the chat little box, so just wanna make sure. Awesome. So the secret behind selling on the gram. How many of you guys feel like with a thumbs up, like feel so icky saying the word sales, hear the word sales, you have to sell of the things. A lot of us have such a bad negative feeling when it comes towards that word and doing it on social media, just because the way that it has been done in the past. So sales is really just a transfer of confidence. It's a transfer of energy. You want to be obsessed with what you're selling so that you almost feel like it would be a disservice if you didn't sell that to someone. You want to be so obsessed with helping other women, with helping men, with helping whoever your idea, better their life, better their health, that it's almost a disservice for them. Like, you, like, listen, like, you need Beachbody. Like, I don't have to sell it to you because I just know the transformation that it has had in my life and the impact it's had. You need this, and it would be a disservice of me not to tell you about it because of how much I know it can change you, it can change your life, and it can change everything around you. And so when we come from that energy and we come from a place of this confidence and this, it's not sales, it's just a transfer of confidence from one to another. So we're going to dive into, I have a few questions for you guys. I don't have more followers. How can I increase my engagement? How can I get more story views? Why is no one responding to my polls, my quizzes? I'm sending DMs out. Why is no one responding? I see other people being successful on IG. Why not me? Give me like a little like yes in the chat if you're asking yourself any of these questions. And I'm just going to do a quick check. I'm going to check it out really quick. Yep, every day. Yes, all of the above. Yes. Okay. I don't want any of you to take offense to this, but the problem isn't them. It's us. It's us. And just bear with me for a second. I will explain why this is the problem, okay? Because we want. But what if we were to flip the script? What if we were to change the narrative? And instead of asking ourselves what's the problem is, we put ourselves in a place of service, and instead we ask ourselves, how can I actually serve my people today? What value can I give? If we focus less on what can I get out of this? How come this isn't working for me? Why isn't this happening? Why am I not getting new followers? Why am I not getting more engagement? Why aren't people just reading my stuff and falling in love with it or obsessed with what I'm doing and what I'm watching every day and everything that I'm doing? What if instead we come from a place of service to our human beings that we're trying to help, we're trying to change their lives? How can I serve them today? What content do I need to create that brings value? What content do I need to create that educates them? What content or what story do I need to share that they might be able to relate to because they might be feeling like they're alone in the world? Ask yourself, what value can you give? And so how do we do this? How do we post? How do we sell? What do we talk about? So we start off we build our brand by showing up as an expert. So what is it? What is your expertise? What is it that you know? As Beachbody coaches, what is it that you can share every day that makes you an expert in what you're already doing? Are you already working out every day? Are you sharing that with your audience? Are you making them see that you're not just talking the talk, you're living it, you're walking it, you're doing everything that you're preaching, that you're saying, just by living your life as it is? Are you treating your audience like friends, or are you treating them like a potential new coach or like a potential new team member or a number? The big thing about social media, as we all know, it's to be social. It's to create genuine relationships. That is how we start selling. It's not by, someone slides into your DMs. If the first thing you're thinking is like, oh, this is a potential new coach, versus, wow, this person had the courage to send me a DM, a complete stranger, because they connected with something that I shared on my stories. I want to ask something about them. Not, I'm going to pitch them what I do. I'm going to ask them and learn about what's going on. What made them want to reach out to me today? Why today? What's going on in their life? This is how we create relationships, and we build relationships by being social, by being genuine, by being our authentic selves. Creating intentional and valuable content. That is key. It doesn't matter how much the algorithm changes. It doesn't matter what new tricks and what new, I mean, we can dive into all the tips and tricks that social media has to offer, but at the end of the day, with social media being such a huge platform, you can't just post a photo and be like, hashtag Monday motivation anymore, right? Because there's a million of those popping up every other day. So now we've got to create content that is valuable, that's intentional, that is educational, that is making someone want to read what you have to say so that they feel a connection to you. And last and not least, like showing up. We've got to show up for our audience, and we've got to be consistent about it, because if you show up once a week and so someone isn't seeing you other than once every 7 days, they're not going to really know what you're about. They're following maybe a 1,000 other people too. So what about you are they going to remember if you are only showing up once in a blue moon when you feel like it, when you're feeling inspired, when you're feeling encouraged to show up and share? Is any of this resonating? Okay. One of the biggest things to remember is that people buy from people. They don't buy products. They buy from other humans. People don't buy, if you're selling if we're talking about Beachbody, right? People aren't going to be connected to you posting a post about Beachbody and the company and the history of the company, or what the company has done for you. They're going to connect to you to sharing a post about your personal journey with health and fitness, and how showing up every single day with your team has changed your life. How having a community of women around you has impacted your life. How having the accountability of, you're working out with team members, right? You're not working out alone. So you've got to show up. It makes you want to wake up every single day and do your workout first thing in the morning before you go to work. It makes you make the time. That story is someone's going to connect to, versus you just sharing a product or sharing a company or sharing the business. Does this make sense? Okay, so action items. What I want to give you guys some tangible things that you can be doing. And like I had mentioned earlier, sharing your story and sharing it frequently, because here's the thing. If you shared your story in, let's say, January 1st of this year, we're already in February 13th. So we're already 6 weeks in. In those 6 weeks, even if you got 10 new followers, those 10 new followers have no idea what your story is. They probably didn't, maybe they just found you, they just connected with you, but they probably didn't have the time to go read your last 10 posts to find what your actual personal story was. So they have no idea. Oftentimes we feel like we assume that, oh, I've already shared my story once, I don't need to share it again for another 6 months or another year. And that's not the case, because your story is what's going to get people connected to you, what you have to say, what it is that you've been through, your journey. Like, do you have kids? Are you making time to work out before they wake up, after you've put them to bed? What has you being part of a team and joining Beachbody done for your mental health, your physical health, your social life, your sex life? Like, what has it done for you? Sharing these stories and these personal stories of getting vulnerable, getting raw, getting authentic, that creates connection with other people. And when you connect with other people, you start building what we call know, like, and trust. And people buy from people that they trust. And this is how we build that trust. Creating educational content like tutorials, how-tos. I don't know if some of you may be like personal trainers and you can give like advice or tips, but if you're not a personal trainer or some sort of certified in fitness, Give me some tips on how it is that you manage your day with kids and Beachbody and going to work and having a husband and having a social life. What are things that you can talk about that you feel confident in sharing that you may feel like other people may know, but I promise you they don't. And other people are looking for like-minded people. And if there's one thing you feel like you've mastered, even if it's just how to give yourself 30 extra minutes in the morning, what do you do? How do you do it? There's other people like you that are wanting to connect with you. And by sharing content like this, we are showing up and providing value. We're not just showing up to show up, and we're not just posting content with inspirational quotes, right? We're now giving like real life advice of how we just do things because we're wanting to connect with others. And then another thing is using the video features of Instagram to build know, like, and trust. People can have the most perfect feed, right? But that isn't going to make me trust them if they're constantly sharing their perfections of their life. That's unattainable, right? I connect with someone on their Instagram stories when I get to see what they actually look like every single day with no makeup on, without the whole photo shoot session, with like them running around getting their kids together while they're trying to work out, or working out as their dog's running like right across from them, or if their puppy's jumping on them while they're trying to do like push-ups or sit-ups or something. How many of you guys see those videos and you're just like laughing because it's the cutest thing, but you can also kind of relate to it? Right? And like that is how we build that know, like, and trust, is through video, because we can see what's happening in real time. That's the importance of stories. You can go live, you can do IGTV. I know a couple of those are a little bit scarier for some. I personally had the hardest time going live. The first time I did it, I like drank half a bottle of wine with my audience, because I was like, listen guys, I am so terrified. I'm doing this, I'm sweating, I'm drinking wine, and everyone couldn't stop like laughing at me. And it just made me more real to them, because they also were feeling the same way with going live. Like it's not natural to people, but if you're trying to do this, if you're so passionate about what you're selling, if you're so passionate about your business and helping other people get healthy, have a community, have accountability, you do what you got to do for them, right? Because again, it's not about you, it's about them. It's about how you can help them. And then the next one is selling through the DMs. And we're going to dive into some examples of how you actually sell through the DMs and how to build relationships. But that is another feature. I'm trying to find the chat box. It's like disappeared on me. But okay, I'll just finish this and then I'll go into the chat. And then that's really what I want to dive into. I want to leave this opportunity. I wanted to make it short and quick because, as I mentioned, I want to get into real life scenarios with you. What are some real life tips that you're needing? Some hot seat coaching when it comes to social media, how I could help you, and what you are needing support with. So I swear I know how to use Zoom. Okay, got it. There we go. Let me catch up on this chat. How many of you guys resonated with any of that? Did that make sense? Do you have any questions on any of that? Yes to all. Love that picture. Absolutely. Yep. All of the above. Yes. Developing credibility and authenticity to stand out in the crowd with inviting to coaching. Yes, Lindsay. Making more authentic connections that will last long term and turn into customers. Getting people who aren't already coaches of customers of coaches. Okay, I'm just gonna work from the bottom up. Let's see, that first question is, Minerva, do you wanna unmute yourself? What do you mean by developing credibility with authenticity to stand out in the crowd with inviting to coaching? What do you mean by that? Where are you? Oh, you're muted. Do you wanna unmute yourself?
Well, duh. Okay, so I feel like it's hard to stand out in the crowd, like whenever you're inviting to coaching and you know that other coaches are inviting to coaching. So I feel like almost sometimes people are interested in working with me, and then when I tell them like what they'll be doing as a coach, it's kind of like I lose credibility with them. It's like I don't know what it is. So I would like some ideas on how to like stand out with coaching, not to just like I feel like as Beachbody coaches, like we say the same thing. Like all of us say the same thing. So if you had like an outsider's view of how we could talk about coaching.
Yeah, talk to me. What do you say? What do you say when you're talking to someone about coaching?
Well, on my videos, like on my Instagram stories, I like do like my morning routine, and then I show things that I'm doing from like my challenge groups. I like show some pictures of transformations of my people, and then I try to talk about how it really is just, this is what you're doing as a coach, and then you're just reaching out to other people to help them do it too, and how we have systems in place like that. That's basically what I do.
Why did they reach out to you to be in the first place?
Well, usually they don't reach out to me. I reach out to them and they're interested, and then like it just seems like it kind of stops. I don't know what to do, like to get them to eventually sign up besides following up a lot. I know that that's part of it, but I guess I'm just asking, like, what can we do in our stories to stand out as in coaching? Like, you know, like what can we do?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one of the things to keep in mind is that when you are a Beachbody coach and you are following other Beachbody coach, you are in the bubble. So you feel like you're all doing the exact same thing. What can I do to do differently? And it's not about what you can do to what you can be doing to be differently. It's how you can be showing up for your people who aren't Beachbody coaches. So sometimes it's putting our blinders on and focusing on what we have to do. And so we show up and we work out on our Instagram stories and we talk about the struggle of waking up to do it, but we did it anyways because you have that accountability. And you ask your audience, like, do you have someone who keeps you accountable? How do you remain accountable? How do you wake up every single day and go work out? I know I didn't want to work out today, but I did it anyways because I knew I had 10 people waiting for me. You have genuine conversations through, which I know can be really weird, like thinking that there's a human right here. But I promise you, if you name who your ideal client is and you are talking to them, it feels a little bit less awkward. And you show up for them and you're like, I don't know about you guys, but I did not want to wake up at 5 a.m. to work out today. It was such a struggle. I am so happy that I did it anyways. I have 10 people waiting for me. We all worked out together and I just feel like I'm getting such a great start to my day. Do you ever feel like this? Ask them an open-ended question. And have them engage with you. Put your blinders on and forget about what all the other Beachbody coaches are doing, because someone's always going to be doing something different, something that you might be thinking is better than you or more different than you, but it's how can you show up for your people and serve? I guarantee you and I promise you there's somebody out there who also is struggling with waking up in the morning and is going to send you a DM and be like, how did you do it at 5 a.m.? Like, I could never. And that's where the conversations start is, so what made you get up, or how do you keep yourself accountable? And we'll dive into like how to keep these conversations, how to start these conversations in the DMs. So you said that you hadn't had people reach out to you yet. You've been reaching out to them. Can you share, how many of you guys like reach out to other people versus getting everyone reaches out to other people? What are you saying when you reach out to other people? Oh, hold on, I see it. Hey, Dulce, thank you so much for following me. Just curious, are you interested in learning more about my accountability groups, want to know more about coaching, or do you just like to connect with positive women? Is that what, like, do a lot of you guys say something along those lines, would you say?
And that would be for like someone who just followed me. So I'm like getting the notifications for new follows, and that would be like something typical that I would say. And I usually do get response back, but I'm just like wondering, is that something I should continue to do? I mean, sometimes it goes in a direction, and sometimes they just ghost me, you know. But
no. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Because nowadays everyone knows what a cookie cutter copy and paste message looks like. The only thing that I noticed from that message is that you switched out my name. You could be talking to Lindsay. You could be talking to Meredith. You could be talking to anybody. I know that you could have copied and pasted that and just replaced my name. The thing with social media now is that everything is so transparent. People know what you're doing. People know what is happening. So when you are reaching out to people or when you have a new follower, take the extra 30 seconds to stalk their page. Hey, I noticed you've got 2 little kids running around. Oh my God, so do you. Like, how do you keep up with everything? Have something to connect with them, stalk them, and then reach out and build the genuine relationship. Build that relationship as you were trying to be your friend before you even offer them anything, before you ask them a question. Get to know them. If you were looking for a long-term friendship, is this the first question you would ask them? Probably not. You would probably find something to connect with them about, right? Kids, work, family, where they live, where are they from. Like, we want to start genuine connections. This is the biggest challenge. And again, I've worked with Beachbody coaches before, so and people in other companies similar. So I promise you that the cookie cutter messages don't work anymore. And my biggest secret that I think is going to change the game for a lot of you guys is the voice memos. How many of you guys have used voice notes on Instagram DMs? That shit is gold. You know why? Because you can't copy and paste that. Whoever listens to that knows that you took time to send them a voice message, because you can't copy and paste voice messages. It's more personable, so it builds trust. It is in the moment, and it builds connection, and then they feel like, wow, this person like literally just out of nowhere sent me a message, like out of blue. I know influencers with like millions of followers who will literally send voice memos to people. One of my favorite influencers in the world, I have literally become a loyal fan of her because she voice memos me out of nowhere. And I'm like, how do you even have time? Voice memos, guys, are the biggest game changers. So if you're reaching out to people for the first time, do it in a voice memo, and do it in a way that's like, listen, I'm not trying to sell. I just want to learn about you. Like, thanks for following me. You could have chosen to follow 100 other people, but you chose to follow me. I'm going to take the time and try and build a genuine, authentic relationship with you before I try to offer you something, sell you something, or ask you a question. Does that make sense? Okay, let me see. There's a big one here. I'm so nervous when someone says yes, like, oh my gosh, I think word vomit everywhere and scared them away. Okay, Christina, tell me what you get so nervous about. Unmute yourself.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that I get so excited when someone says yes, and then I'm like, ooh, like, what are your goals? Like, what can I help you with? Because I just want to help, like everybody. And I think that I just get, because I send voice memos, and I think I just jumble it all up, and they're like, oh, like, you're freaking me out. And then they just won't respond. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I spoke too much.
Okay. So, yeah, keep it to a minimum when, you don't want to ask them like 30 questions and then they don't even know what the heck to respond to. So if they respond, like if you've sent this message, and I'm going to use Laura's example, like I'm learning more about my kind of want to know more about coaching, or do you just like to connect with positive women? That's two separate questions right there. But if someone responds like, yes, I'd love to learn more, send them a voice memo like, that makes me so excited to hear. I can't wait to connect with you. Talk to me a little bit about what your current fitness and health goals are. One question. So all they have to do, you make it easy and simple for them. Because again, it's not about you. It's not about how excited you are. It's about them.
Yeah.
Make it simple. Make it easy. Ask them one question. Don't offer anything. Just ask them a question that makes them want to feel like, wow, this person actually just wants to learn from me. Like, they're not trying to sell me anything. They just want to build a relationship. They want to be social.
Okay.
And also, like, I would like be smiling ear to ear if I had like your accent as a voice memo randomly someday. Like, oh my God, that's so cute.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I want to jump over here. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to go up in the chat box. but okay, 1,000, we're just that excited. I'm with girl. And then do you wait until they come back and ask to then invite them, or is there a point where you then invite them? Oh, this is a really good question in terms of like, at one point do you do the ask? Okay. So you want to go back and forth a little bit before you do the ask. So for you guys, tell me a little bit about what the goal is. Is it to get someone on the phone? Is it to get, like, what is that goal from Instagram to what?
I don't have a lot of phone conversations. I think sometimes people want to have a phone conversation, or like if they ever say like, can we meet in person if they're local to me, then I'll either meet with them in person or get on the phone with them. But most people are fine talking, you know, on Messenger. Um, so it's just figuring out, you know, because I think what's happened to me, I feel like lately, is people that I've connected with a long time on Instagram, like I've gone through our messages, I end up finding out that they've joined with someone else. And it could just have been like they didn't connect with me in that way. But I feel like that has kind of happened to me. So then I'm like, well, they didn't join me because I never asked them, you know? And so I kind of have gotten into that. So that's where I'm kind of like playing around with sending immediate messages, because I feel like, you know, us as coaches, we've heard both. We've heard, yes, just send 100 invites and the people that are interested are going to say yes. And, you know, you'll get XYZ out of that. And then other people are like, you know, reach out to them. There was a coach who did a national call for all coaches, and he was like, I connect with them 5 times and then I invite them, you know, so he kind of had like a check mark next to their name. All right, I've talked to them like 5 different times. Okay, if they're still following me and still talking to me after 5 times, like I'm going to invite them. You know, he was talking about that. So I was just curious as to what you thought, but typically people are fine doing it all in Messenger in my experience. It's just figuring out when to invite them without, like I said, for me, I feel like I've missed out on some people because I've never invited them. I've just been, you know, Instagram friends with them because I'm waiting for them to, like, you know, I typically invite off of people who are liking and commenting on my posts, who are watching or answering my polls, you know, on stories and stuff like that. So that's typically who I invite, so that it's not typically like a cold, you know, random out of the blue, like, who are you? Why are you messaging me type of thing. But just wanted to know your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with the 3 to 5 back and forth, because you also don't want to go on for like 10 different back and forths. Or my rule of thumb generally is I answer like one question, or like I will give 1 to 2 pieces of advice where I will coach them in the DMs. So for example, if someone reaches out to me and if anybody reaches out to me and they're wanting to learn more about my program or learn about working with me, I don't sell them. I first ask them every single time. I will ask them, yeah, I'd love to tell you more, but can you actually tell me what your biggest struggle with Instagram is right now? Because I don't even know if they're the right fit working with me. I haven't even taken the time to get to learn about them or know what their challenges or struggles are. So ask your people, like, you know, what is it that made them reach out to you in the first place? Or answer your polls, because that is a great way to not feel like it's a cold DM, is by creating those polls and responding to people in those polls. And then once they give me their challenge or whatever their particular struggle with, I'll give them an answer. I don't give them another question, or I don't give them a suggestion, or like, yeah, if we work together, I'll answer that for you. Absolutely not. I want to build that know, like, and trust. And so I will give them like, okay, well, this is what I would recommend, XYZ. And more often than not, they'll be like, oh, wow, that was really great. Thank you. And then I will follow up with absolutely, if there's ever anything you need, or like if you ever have any questions, shoot me a DM, or if you're interested in working together, let me know. I would love to chat more. And then I've done the ask, but I've put it in their court. I don't invite until I figured out if they even have health fitness goals. Right, yes. Then I go into recommendations for a workout nutrition. If they even have health and fitness goals. Then I go, okay, before you go into the recommendations for a workout and nutrition, do you ask them like, hey, would you mind if I recommend a workout for you, or a fitness program? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm usually asking them if they have health and fitness goals. If they say yes, I ask them what they are. Then I'm asking them what type of workouts they even enjoy, what their struggles are with nutrition, and then maybe what has worked in the past or what hasn't worked. So I can like figure out, because we have like so many options, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
always like trying to figure out, okay, like what is the best option for them? And then I'm pretty upfront with, okay, I'm going to send you a preview of a program I think would be a good fit for you. Is that okay? Like, does that sound good? And they're always like, yes, you know? Then I send them the preview of the program, a little bit about it, like a 2-sentence thing about it. And then we're having a conversation. I feel like I'm fine once I find out if they have health and fitness goals. I feel like I'm fine navigating that the rest of the conversation. I think for me, it's just more about having that opportunity to even find out their health and fitness goals. You know, it's,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's something that I now 4 years in, I feel like it's like I want to help more people, and I'm just trying to figure out how to get more filtered without seeing the same people. I guess that's going into other questions that girls asked about, as far as, you know, you can only invite if you're only having 500 people watch your stories each day, like that 500 doesn't change a lot, you know, so then you kind of run out of people. So getting new people to then follow, engage, all of that.
Okay. So with getting like new people to follow, engage, first we start off with the different type of content that we're creating. This is kind of hard to hear, but sometimes your content can just suck. And if it sucks, if you bring someone over new, like what do you got to offer them? Like if I come over to any of your pages right now and follow you as of tonight going forward, what value are you going to be giving me as a new follower that's going to make me want to stick around? Are you creating the valuable content? Are you creating the educational content? There's a thing now, there's creating like viral type content, and that's content that people will share to like Instagram stories. Like, do you ever share like meme accounts or like quotes, or like that account Boss Babe, they do a lot of like powerful women quotes, and that's viral type content because you want to share about it. So are you creating anything that makes inspires or ignites other people to want to share what you're saying, because it's so polarizing, it's so educational, it's so informal, it's so informational. One of my a recent post of mine that just went a little viral, but it was shared over 30 times, was a post that my photo literally says unfollow me. And that is polarizing, because on social media we want more followers, right? And I just told my people to unfollow me. And so that's how you start to create a buzz, and you create a content, because now you are speaking your mind, you're speaking your truth. What do you actually have to say about health and fitness? Like, you know, give me some hooks in your captions of like, you know, I work out so I can feel good having sex. When was the last time you guys read that? And like, or if you were to see that on social media, would you read the rest of that caption? Because I know I would. And so like, I'm not saying you all have to go post or talk about that now, but you're creating content that makes me as a new follower, or even someone who's already been following you, but maybe I've just now like a dead follower because nothing you're posting is great. That's going to make me be like, whoa, hold on, what did she just say? And so we can want all the new followers in the world, but if we don't know what to do with them, they're going to disappear, they're going to mute you, or they're going to eventually end up unfollowing you. So we got to take a step back and be like, how can I create more valuable content that's more educational, that is for my people, that is for my audience? Like, what is it? You know, one of those, a great way is identify who your dream target, like your dream client avatar is, or your dream follower avatar. So my dream follower avatar are entrepreneurs, small business owners, and side hustlers. They're women from the age of around 28 to 36. I'm like very specific. I know them to a T. They are 1 to 3 years into building their business. My woman she's 1 to 3 years into building her business. She is struggling with figuring out how to land more clients, how to use social media to build her brand. She knows that she's supposed to post. She knows that she's supposed to create great captions. She knows that there's this whole strategy thing, but she just doesn't know what she's doing, and she just is a business owner, so she doesn't have the time to figure this all out herself. I'm literally describing my human for you guys. And the whole purpose of that is so that you know, when I jump onto my Instagram stories and I'm talking into this camera, I am talking directly to her. And because I speak directly to her, if the 7,000 followers that I do have, if any of them are her, they are going to hear every word I say. They're going to watch the entire story of me trying to sell. They're going to read my content, because everything that I say, that I create, how I speak, is speaking directly to her. Because if I try to speak to the masses, if I try to hit young women, older men, kids, teenagers, if I'm trying to hit everybody, I'm going to hit nobody. It's like that saying, when you try to catch two rabbits, you end up catching neither. That's exactly how your content is, and when you're talking about is. So if you are someone who is trying to work specifically with new moms, let's say like new moms is like your niche, that is who your dream client is, do me a favor, and after this call, I want you to write everything about her. What does she do in her day from the time that she wakes up to the time that she goes to bed? Is she married? How many children does she have? Does she have a part-time job? Does she have a full-time job? What does she do on weekends? Who are her friends? Does she like to drink a lot? Does she not like to drink at all? Know her so well that even when you're relating to her in terms of like I love health and fitness, but every Friday I have a glass of wine. Cheers. Like, how was your week today? Like, your people are going to connect with you because you're being authentic and you're being yourself. Does that make sense? Sometimes I go on a little rant and I forget to stop and pause and ask questions.
Another question was getting over a follower plateau. Maybe you've been stuck at 2,000 or 2,500 or 5,000. How do you might have seen your numbers go up, and then it just seems like for months they're around the same.
Yeah. Follower plateaus. I'm not going to lie. I go in and delete followers every month. And the reason why I do that is because there are so many software and bot accounts now that you in order to increase your engagement, in order to really see how many people are actually following you, you've got to get rid of those bots and those software accounts and really see how many real humans are following you, to see how many there. And then with the follower plateau and the hitting of that plateau, do all of you guys have a business account so you can see the insights, or it's like the creator version, so you can see how many people are following you and unfollowing you? How many of you guys actually analyze those stats, look at them on a weekly, bi-weekly basis to see how many new followers you lost, how many you gained? Would you say you guys are checking them every other week or consistently in any way, shape, or form? Okay, so the problem with that is, if you're not checking them, how do you actually know? You're just so focused on that one follower count number that there are insights now on social media now tell you if this particular post boosted your engagement, if a particular post got you new followers, if a particular post made you lose followers. So if you're not actually checking your insights, you really don't know how well your content is doing, or if that's the type of content your audience wants to see. So even though I know like we all want to grow, and we all want to increase our follower count number, even if you were to increase by 2,000 followers tomorrow, you're not going to know how to keep them, because you're not doing the foundations of creating content that's for your audience. You're not checking your analytics, so you don't really know what content is being received well by your followers, how much of that content is being saved, how much of that content is being shared. So before we can even do that, we've got to kind of take a few step backs and start creating content for our people. Does that answer your question? I guess I'm not sure what to do with that info. Jenny, do you mean the analytics info? Okay. So when it comes to analytics and stats, the first thing to look at is start small, because diving into analytics can be its own beast, but start small with just the analytics on your last post. So after this call, go to your last post, and I want you to find out, okay, how much reach did this last post have? How many impressions? Did anybody save this post? Did anybody share this post? If you have any content that, if you were to compare your last 5 posts, and out of those 5 posts, one of those posts was shared 10 times, okay, let's go back to that post that was shared 10 times, and what did you talk about? What did you post about? Because it resonated with enough people that they wanted to save this into their archives to reference it later. That's huge to know. So that's where we start off with the stats and the analytics. I don't know how well versed you are in that, so I don't want to dive too deep, but a great way to start is just with every single post. About 2 to 3 days after you've posted, go back to the analytics and see what the impressions were, see what the reach was, see if anyone shared it, see if anyone saved it, how many comments, how many authentic comments did you get. If you're in any engagement pods, those don't count, so don't include those. If any of you guys use bots or any sort of softwares, I would cancel any of that stuff out. That doesn't count. How much organic reach did it get? And start by analyzing those. That's a great way to start with using your stats. So go to those last 5 posts and compare them. Which one out of the last 5, which one resonated most with your audience? And then you go and you analyze it, like, okay, why did this? What did I say here that resonated with my audience, that encouraged them to want to save and share? Okay, so that's where I'm going to recommend all of you guys start with the analytics.
Dulce, would you focus on the reach or the impressions more?
That is a great question.
I'm guessing it's impressions, because the impressions are then broken down by where those impressions came from. Like it says, like who saw that post from their homepage, from hashtags, from the location tag, or other.
Yeah. So,
but it's a different number than the reach.
Yeah. So your reach is metric counted once per unique user. So each individual account that views your photo, video, or story counts as an account reach. Okay. The impression is every single time your content is seen by someone. So if someone scrolls past your photo 8 times without really looking at it, that counts as 8 impressions. So you want to focus on the number that was reached. And if any of you guys want that, I have a post that literally gives you, I don't know if you can see, it explains the difference between reach and impression, and I wrote a caption so that you can decide which one matters the most. So you guys can go, and if you want to save that or go and jot that down. So your impressions will always be much higher, but that's why. It's because if I scroll past your post 15 times, that counted as 15. But if you have 15 different accounts looking at your post, that's where that number 15 comes from. So that's the difference. So they're both great, because if you, for example, reach, if you had 1,000, you had 1,000 new unique accounts. So let's say 1,000 people saw that post, versus if you had 1,000 impressions, that could be a combination of maybe 100 of those people came back and saw the post again. And so your impressions should always be much higher. Does that answer that for you guys?
Another question was just getting more viewers on stories. I noticed, when I was at any time really, I'm on a trip, whether it's a coach retreat when I was in the mountains, or even if it's on a vacation with my family, I always get more. And then it either stays up or it slowly decreases. is there an actual way to get more viewers on stories? Just more engagement within the actual stories?
Yes. So there's a few things with Instagram stories. So general rule of thumb, start every day with your face appearing on the camera on stories. Because when you show up with your face, whether you're just saying, so something I do every single day without a fault, I tell my audience good morning in Spanish, I say buenos dias without a fault. And the first story image should always be of your face, because that's what they're going to connect to. They are more likely, I don't remember what the statistic is, but people are more likely to follow along the rest of your stories if you start your story every single day with your face. How many of you guys are afraid to show up and talk to the camera on stories? I'm curious about my audience here. No? All of you guys are okay and willing to show up on stories and talk to the camera? Oh, awesome. I love you guys. Oh my God, that makes my life so much easier, because oftentimes I have to like get people to just be like, just jump on. It's okay. Nothing will happen.
I do think though, like a couple of us had been chatting though, they're fine talking about maybe how crazy their kids are, or maybe that they love this, that, and other. But when it comes to talking about what we actually do, you know, the fitness, the coaching, then they have a hard time. Then they kind of like freeze up. Is that true for some of you guys? You guys can nod. But I will say,
coaching,
everyone that I personally work with on this is good at showing their face. But I really like that tip, real fast. Good tip for showing your face first thing, because I know I don't always do that.
Okay. Yeah. So when it comes to the reason why we have a hard time showing up to sell what it is that we are trying to sell on this platform is because we are coming from a place of like, we have ingrained in us the used car salesman, where we relate anything selling to ickiness, ew, I don't want to sell, I don't want to come off across as salesy. Change your narrative and share what about it that you do you love so much. Come at it with, what are you passionate about? Like, holy crap, I just got off of my work. I just wrapped up my workout this morning. What a workout. I had 15 girls show up with me. We all did the same workout together. We held each other accountable. We supported each other. Like, wow, that just felt so amazing. Now I'm just ready to kick off like the rest of my day. Like, how do you guys like jumpstart your day? Do you work out? Do you take coffee? Like, do you hear my energy? Do you hear my passion? And I'm not even doing it. But do you hear how different that is versus me trying to be like, hi, so I work with a bunch of other coaches to help you get healthier, get fit. You join a team. We like have Zoom calls. We help each other out. We keep each other accountable. Which one of those stories are you going to follow along with? The first one or the second? The first one. Because I'm sharing like what just happened. I'm sharing that I'm excited, I'm passionate, I'm showing up with energy. People love connecting with energy. Like, think of your friends. All of us have that one friend that like after we leave them just makes us feel so energized or so good about ourselves, or we just have a good time with them, so we like want to be around them more. It's the exact same thing with social media and Instagram stories. Like, people want to like, you know, people want to connect to that energy. They want to feel the way that you're feeling. Like, if you being a part of Beachbody makes you feel excited, share the excitement. If it makes you feel passionate, share the passion. Share the feeling, again, because we're not trying to sell a product. No one's trying to sell these Zoom calls, right? Like, oh yeah, so you're going to get on a Zoom call with about 100 other people once a week, and we're going to talk about different things to help you build your business. Like, that's probably not what I'm going to connect to. I'm probably going to, if I probably would rather connect to, like, you are going to meet like 50 other women who feel the same way you do. We build friendships. We travel together. We message each other through like holidays when shit's going down the drain. You like have a whole new group of friends that you can count on, and that like I have met some of my best friends through this community. It's unreal. It's like nothing ever before. Again, are you going to connect with number 1 or number 2? You're going to connect to number 2 because you're going to connect to that feeling of like other women and building friendships and like keeping other and supporting each other and keep holding each other accountable versus like, yeah, so you have to get on a Zoom call. It's okay if your kids join you. You just want to make sure that you're listening and that you're taking notes because you're going to learn all these things. Like, no one's going to buy into that, right? So are we going to show up with more passion, more energy? Screw the sales. We're not selling. We're just sharing our feelings. We're sharing what we're passionate about. We're changing the transformation. We're sharing the transformation that this has had in our lives, in our families' lives, how me working out with my team in the morning makes me a better mother, makes me a better sister, makes me a better wife, makes me a better friend. What does this do for you? Dig deep and jot down, like, why are you in this? What is your why? And that is what you share with the world. That is what you share with your people. And we're about an hour. I can keep going, but I don't want to take anybody's time. Y'all let me know. I love doing this, so I could go on forever. So if there's any last minute questions, let me know. Happy to help.
Thank you so much. Any last questions? You guys can unmute yourself and ask or type them into the chat. I scrolled utilizing hashtags to find new people. Would you say, so I know a couple different ways that a couple of us talk about is how we find new people, but just going to other accounts that we may enjoy and finding like our person, or would you look at hashtags? Like, what is the best? Are you always trying to build your followers so you're looking for business owners yourself, or what do you recommend us to do?
A couple of things. So with the hashtags are a great tool. They are no longer doing what they used to do. There's so many people that talk about hashtags like they used to work a year ago. Hashtags used to make content go viral. Hashtags used to make people be found. It's no longer that way with hashtags because everyone under the sun is using them. So you can be using this. If you use hashtag fitness, you will literally, your content's not going to be seen because a million other people just use hashtag fitness 30 seconds ago. So when it comes to hashtags, you want it, what is your person Googling? What are they searching for? Those are the type of hashtags that you want to create. It's not necessarily like, if I am looking for if I'm looking to say if I'm looking to lose weight, hashtag weight loss is no longer going to do it for me. Maybe if I use hashtag weight loss coach for women. Do you see how very specific that is? Or if I am looking for a trainer local to where I live and I say hashtag Boise personal trainer, there's a difference between that and between hashtag personal trainer. And so with your hashtags, you want them to be very niche and you want to think of what is my person hashtagging? What are they looking for? Those are going to be your best hashtags. But again, with hashtags, they're not your end all be all. They're just one of the many tools that you could be using to support and help your growth and help you get seen. When it comes to Instagram stories, making sure that you are geotagging locations where you're at, that will definitely help with reach, because Instagram, if you say hashtag NYC, for example, there's an entire NYC bubble where anybody who used that hashtag, people can go watch the NYC story. So use geotag locations. You can use, I believe it's up to, I think 23. You can use hashtags on your Instagram stories, but if you use too many, they don't work. My rule of thumb is 3 to 5 hashtags per stories. And then I will have them I color match them and I have them blend in with something so nobody can even see the hashtags. But oftentimes they haven't worked for me on Instagram stories anyways. Another thing to think about with Instagram stories is that you only see the stories people's latest stories. So if, let's say I'm following, let's say that you follow me. If I shared my Instagram story this morning and I didn't share another story for the rest of the day. If you didn't see my story when it first pulled up, my story is now getting moved to the back of the row until I share a new story, which is Instagram's way of telling you you've got to share stories consistently and you've got to share stories frequently so that you can keep getting put to the front of the line, because you keep getting pushed back every time somebody else shares a story that someone's following. And so with stories, with Instagram stories, the reason it was created was to replace Snapchat. And that's what Instagram wants you to do. It wants you to use all of its tools. It wants you to use IGTV. It wants you to use live. It wants you to use Instagram stories. It wants you to use the main feed. Keep it diverse. How do you all come up with ideas for a post every day? I struggle with this. What about personal development? Okay, ideas for post every single day. Okay. So I'm going to kind of give you guys an example that's in the health and fitness related field. But if I'm a personal trainer, my goal on Instagram is to get new clients. And as I said earlier today, like I'm trying to show up as an expert in my field. I'm going to create converting type content. So what that means is typically what I'll do is I'll create like 5 content buckets around what my goal is. So as a personal trainer, I am also a certified personal trainer. I'm a nutritionist and I'm trying to land clients, right? My niche specifically is like I help women like lose those extra 5 pounds, those stubborn like 5 pounds. That is like what my niche is. So like anybody who's wanting to lose those extra 5 pounds, they're going to relate to me. They're going to connect to me because that is all I'm going to be talking about. So my 5 content buckets are going to be nutrition, because I'm also certified in nutrition or nutrition expert. And also I talk a lot about how it has a lot to do with losing weight. Another content bucket is going to be fitness for me. Another content bucket is going to be personal story or journey. This is where I share my personal story or journey. My 4th content bucket is going to be my clients. Maybe I share a testimonial of my clients, because there's nothing that converts people more than social proof and client testimonials. And my 5th content bucket is going to be for fun. And this is where I'm going to talk about like friends or family, or if I went to a wedding this weekend, because as much as our social media, we're using it for business, we're also trying to be sociable and we have lives and we share our friends and family and things like that. So, and if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different content buckets, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you can switch these up. On Monday, I'm going to give you guys like my favorite protein recipe that takes 5 minutes to make. If someone is following me that's an ideal client and like they're like, oh, I'm always looking for recipes that like take less than 10 minutes because I'm always rushing, or these ingredients look good, someone's going to connect to that and they're more likely going to save that content. But that's a piece of content that I created. The next week, my food bucket can be my favorite dinner, or how I meal prep, or the difference between regular milk and oat milk or almond milk, and which one's actually better. Or I do some myth busting versus like what's actual healthier, like brown rice or white rice, like, you know. So that goes all under my nutrition content bucket. My fitness content bucket, I could share in my fitness content bucket, I could share how to properly do a workout. I could share how I could share an actual like arm day, leg day, or the best ab exercises. I could share like anything that falls under like fitness, like physical fitness would fall under this content bucket. My 3rd content bucket I said was personal journey. And remember how earlier I talked about how you have to share your story frequently and consistently because you get new followers every day and stuff like that. So what you do is you write down, what is my personal journey? What is my story? If we take 5 minutes to write our story, we end up with like about 10 pages because we've been through a lot of stuff. There's a lot of reasons why we do the things we do, why we are the way we are. So what you do is you look at your story and then you start picking it apart. And on one week you talk about, you know, like how you struggled with yo-yo dieting and how that affected your life. Another day you could talk about like your upbringing with your family and what that looked like in the health and wellness field. Like, you know, my family never worked out as a young kid. I didn't even see it a part of my life. This is something I discovered much later. People are going to be connecting with that. So there's all of these different stories that connect under your personal journey or your story. If you lost a lot of weight, like your transformation photo, or what your mental health was like, how it's changed because of your career in fitness and stuff like that. So everything would go under that. And so now that your story alone has created so many pieces of content that you have to talk about for months and months on end. The fourth content bucket, I already forgot what it was. Oh, client testimonials. How many lives have been changed from working with you? You could literally do a spotlight of once a week. You share a new client and what their testimonials were, what their transformations was. My last post is actually a carousel of client testimonials with their pictures on them. I could have split that up and once a week shared one post of a new client testimonial. And for the next 6 weeks, I'd have a new client testimonial and I could just keep adding to it, right? Because all of that continues to show social proof of me being an expert at what I do. And then the fifth one being personal, fun, family events you're attending, because you guys also have real lives and people will connect with that. So that's kind of a way to create multiple pieces of content that reach your objective of showing up as an expert as a personal trainer. That makes sense? It's kind of hard to do it on such a broad topic, but it's just an example.
Awesome. All right, you guys, thank you guys so much for hopping on. I know some people had to go get kids to bed. I know my kids are actually waiting for me. But thank you so much, Dulce. If you guys have any other questions, make sure you guys follow her, connect with her. She's constantly giving tips. And she didn't get to talk about it, but she does have a mentorship if you guys want to join that, where she'll add a lot of value to your business. So make sure you guys check that out. She went live in her stories about it today, so you guys can see how she talked about it. And then visit her website. You can click the link in the bio. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope you guys all had a good night, and thank you for tuning in. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.